I can't say I've ever been a really big fan of Mighty Bomb Jack. Back when it was new, I found it to be a bit clunky to play. It was through Game Center CX where I learned just how deep and complex the game actually was. There's far more going on in Mighty Bomb Jack than it appears on the surface. Mighty Bomb Jack is the first Famicom game we've gotten from Tecmo. They're not especially prolific, but they wind up with a pretty good batting average. Mighty Bomb Jack is not a port of their arcade game Bomb Jack. Instead, it's a Famicom-targeted sequel. That's a big milestone. Game publishers are now abandoning the arcade specifically to target the Famicom. The story of Mighty Bomb Jack is that the royal family has been kidnapped by Beelzebub and trapped in a pyramid full of demons. Only the youngest son, Jack, escaped. Now he has to make his way through the pyramid and rescue his family. And what that means is Jack has to go through a set of 16 side-scrolling platforming levels. And these levels can be quite sprawling. There's a total of 256 screens, and you'll find ones that vertically scroll as well as ones that scroll side to side. The stages are broken up into segments, and some of them end after a single segment, while others can consist of as many as 12. Let's get into the gameplay here, and I think we better start with the movement. Jack's jump doesn't quite work the same way it does in other games. You press A to jump, and it can go really high, so you can press A again to stop him from going up. On the way down, you can tap A to kind of float in the air a bit, and that's going to be necessary to collect some items. Finally, if Jack's normal jump height isn't enough for you, you can press up and hit A and you'll go even higher. The movement system can feel a bit unintuitive, though I didn't have any trouble getting the feel for it when I played this time. One of the nice things about Jack's jumping is the extreme amount of air control. There's some precise platforming in Mighty Bomb Jack, and between the downward float and how much control you have, I never had a problem making some of those tough jumps. The real challenge comes from the enemies. They always spawn in as mummies who can walk back and forth for a little bit, and then turn into another enemy. A useful thing to know is that only 4 of them can be on screen at once. And if you scroll them off the screen, they despawn. You'd think that would make your life easier, but what happens is you wind up in these tight spaces and a ton of enemies spawn outside it, and suddenly you're stuck and have to go through them to get out. You do have a weapon, though. Inside some of the treasure chests are mighty coins, and you press B to cash in one of those. One mighty coin turns you blue and lets you open the gold chests. The second mighty coin turns you orange, and you can open chests from the side. But the third mighty coin? The third mighty coin turns you green, and activating it turns all the enemies on the screen into coins. You step down in these levels after a certain number of jumps. So green will become orange, orange will become blue. Now you might think that you'd want to build up a hoard of mighty coins so that you have them always available, but if you collect more than 9, you're sent to the torture room. In there, you have to jump 50 times before they let you out. And once you are let out, you go back to the start of the level with no mighty coins. Most of the other things you find in treasure chests are just worth points, but keep an eye out for this potion. It gives you 10 seconds on the timer back. And these sphinxes open up special paths. Not all the treasure chests are out in the open. Some of them are hidden in the terrain. You have to jump on those spots to break them open. The bombs that you see in each stage are generally worth points, but if you collect enough of them, you'll hear a chime. And that chime means the next chest that you open will have a power ball in it. The power ball turns all enemies on screen into coins. So it's another option for clearing out all the enemies, but you'll need to listen for it. One more item to keep an eye out for is this ball with an E on it. That one's an extra life. So congratulations, you made it through a stage. Now you enter the Royal Room. A one-screen room with a bunch of bombs. The Royal Room is the real secret of Mighty Bomb Jack. After you collect your first bomb, one of the fuses will light. Now you can collect that bomb for a few extra points and to make the power ball appear a little bit earlier. Or you could collect it last. And if that first bomb that lit the fuse is the last bomb that you collect, then when you exit the royal room, instead of going to the next stage, you go to the next stage's royal room. And there's no limit to the number of times that you can do this. You can skip straight from level 1 to level 16 if you really want. The catch is, if you die, you go back to the stage that you started from. The start of that stage. So if you start out on level 1 and do this trick 9 times and then die on the 10th, you go back to the start of level 1. It turns it into a real push your luck mechanic. Some of the rooms are harder to maneuver in than others, and deciding to skip a stage could mean a huge loss of progress. At the end of the game, you're given a GDV score. That's just a ranking that's determined by things like how many extra lives you collected, what stage you made it to, and how many treasure chests you opened. So now we're getting to the stuff I don't like in Mighty Bomb Jack. And really it's one thing. Mighty Bomb Jack is a game that requires that you know the secrets in order to play it well. It almost demands that you play with a strategy guide in hand. There's not enough mighty coins to go around as you reach the higher levels, so you need to know where the hidden chests are. If you want to get into the treasure rooms, you need to know where the hidden items are. And if you want to beat the game, you have to know where the hidden pickups are that let you rescue everyone. The other problem is more minor. Because the enemy spawns are random, they're not really set up in a way that makes it feel like a challenge to overcome. And as a result, it all winds up feeling very similar. I know that's a strange thing to say about random distribution, but there's only so many ways that it can drop enemies on you. Mighty Bomb Jack was a pretty big hit for Tecmo, so I don't know why they never followed it up. Even with the rough edges on this one, I would have definitely played a sequel.